The Mexican Revolution, which began in 1910, was one of the most significant social and political upheavals in Latin American history. It marked a profound transformation in Mexico's political landscape, economy, and society, affecting the lives of millions of Mexicans. This video explores the causes, key events, and the long-lasting impact of the revolution on Mexico and its people. By the early 20th century, Mexico was deeply divided. The country was ruled by Porfirio Diaz, who had been in power for over 30 years. His regime, known as the Porfiriato, was characterized by political repression, social inequality, and economic exploitation. While Mexico's elite and foreign investors profited, the majority of Mexicans, especially peasants and indigenous communities, lived in poverty and were subjected to harsh labor conditions. This growing inequality and dissatisfaction created the perfect storm for revolution. The revolution officially began in 1910 when Francisco Madero, a wealthy landowner, challenged Diaz for the presidency. Madero's campaign, which called for free elections and democratic reforms, resonated with the oppressed population. Despite Madero's initial electoral victory, Diaz refused to step down, leading to widespread protests and uprisings. The situation escalated into a full-scale revolution as Madero gained the support of peasants, workers, and various revolutionary leaders, including Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa. Two of the most iconic leaders of the Mexican Revolution were Emiliano Zapata and Pancho Villa. Zapata, a peasant leader from the southern state of Morelos, championed land reforms and the rights of rural workers. His famous slogan, Tierra y Libertad, land and liberty, became a rallying cry for campesinos, peasants, who were fighting for land redistribution. Pancho Villa, a former bandit turned revolutionary general, led a large army of northern Mexican peasants and workers. Villa's forces played a critical role in the revolutionary struggles, and he became a symbol of resistance against the central government and the elite. The revolution saw shifting alliances and multiple phases of conflict. Madero's presidency was short-lived. He was overthrown and assassinated in 1913 by a military coup led by General Victoriano Huerta. This event deepened the revolution, as different factions continued to fight for control. While Zapata and Villa initially supported Madero, they turned against him when his government failed to address their demands for land reform and social justice. During this period, the revolutionaries engaged in fierce battles against Huerta's forces. The struggle lasted for several years, and eventually, Huerta was forced to resign in 1914, leading to the establishment of a new government under Venustiano Carranza. The revolution culminated in the Mexican Constitution of 1917, a groundbreaking document that enshrined progressive social reforms, including land redistribution, workers' rights, and the separation of church and state. The Constitution addressed many of the demands of the revolutionaries, particularly Zapata and Villa, although the full implementation of these reforms was slow and difficult. The Constitution still serves as the foundation of Mexican law today. The Mexican Revolution had far-reaching effects on Mexico's political and social landscape. It ended the long period of dictatorship and introduced democratic principles, although the country would continue to face challenges in achieving true equality. The revolution inspired future movements in Latin America and beyond, and the ideas of land reform, social justice, and worker rights continue to shape Mexican politics today.